Hello guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make this hologram screen. Isn't it beautiful? So what we're going to be doing is making beams, and what they do is they just move up, and then once they reach a certain point they'll jump back down and start moving back up again. But what we're going to need to do is have original positions for the attachments, and we're going to just be moving the attachments up. So let's get started. Dun, da, da, da. Okay, so we're going to want to, I don't know how to do that part. So, okay, we'll grab whatever we're going to be putting the screen on, and then, like I did here, we're just going to be creating a part. Yup, create a part. And inside of that part, we're going to look at the properties of the part, and then we're going to, let's just change the name of the screen, and then size down here. I think mine was like 15, no, that's the height, so we're going to want 15 height, and then, was it 25? No, I'll just look at my screen. Okay, 0.1, 15, 34. 0.1, 15, and 34, and then I'll just rotate it because it's orientation Y, 90. Okay, and then what we'll do is move it up, position, let's grab the screen, control 4, not control 2, sorry. Move it to the right position. Okay, now we've got our screen, and then what we're going to want to do is change colors and whatnot. So good material is, where is it? Force field, and I like electric blue. I think that's, yeah, it's just I had a billboard GUI on it, so it looks a little brighter. So now we got the force field, and then we're going to go and add some stuff. So first we're going to want a folder for where we're going to be putting the beams. So we're going to name that beams, and then we're going to have a script, and that script is going to be called beam control. And then the magic happens. So since we're going to be wanting to run, like make the beams go upwards, we're going to want to do run service. Run service is equal to game get the run service. Run. Okay, and then we're going to be needing a table for both our beams and our attachments. And we're also going to need to know how many beams we want, so we'll do beam count. I think 10 is pretty good. And then we're going to need to figure out spacing between each beam. So to do that, we'll just make a little height increment variable, and we'll grab the parent, because that is our screen. So we're going to want to get the screen size. So dot size dot y for the height, and then multiply that by 0.5. But no, we're going to want to do by our beam count, divide by beam count. And then we're going to need our little offset so we know exactly where to place, like start creating the beams. So we're going to want to have it start at the bottom of the screen. So we're going to want to do script dot parent dot size dot y, and then multiply that by 0.5, so we get half the height because we're moving it down. And we're going to also want to move it down the length of how like our separation, so we know that it's going to be starting at the actual bottom instead of like up an increment. And then we're going to want to run through and create all of the beams and parent that to the folder. So we're going to make a little loop and use the beam count as the number of times we're going to go through it, because we're going to want that many beams. So first we gotta create two attachments, and position them. To do that, we're going to need to figure out what the width of our screen is. So we can just do the width is equal to script dot parent dot size dot the z, multiply that by 0.5. We're going to want to figure out the height of where we're going to be placing each little beam, because the beam's going to be different height for each one of them. So that'll be the height increment times I, because we're going up by this much every time it runs through the loop. Yeah, and then we're going to want to add the height offset, or subtract it, whatever. Then we're going to want to start making an attachment table inside of we're going to want to make a table inside of this, so because we're going to have two attachments per beam. So we'll start with the attachment table I1. We're also, I think I made a little whoopsie. Yeah, okay. Attachments, not attachments, it's going to be attachment table, because the attachment table, a table there. Yeah. Okay. So now, inside of here is where we're going to be creating the attachments. So we'll do instance.new, and we'll do attachment. And then we're going to be setting a couple of values there. So first we're going to be setting the position, and then we're going to be setting, I should just do position first. Okay. Okay, so the position is going to be do vector3.new, because that's what position is, and we'll do the height and the width, and then we'll do this again, but this time we'll just have 3 in here for setting like the original position. So this is going to be the original position of where it was created. Yep. So that'll be the same vector actually. And there. So it'll be that position. And then what we'll do okay. We'll set the parent now. And not 3, we're going to want 1. Or not 1, we're setting the parent of this guy. So that parent. Wait, no, we are setting 1. We're setting 1 because we're still working on that guy. So the parent is, drum roll, it is script dot parent. Ta-da! And we're gonna practically do the same thing for the second attachment. So we're only going to grab from here up to here, and then copy that, paste it, bada bam. Then we'll just change this value, and we'll change this to 4. Yeah. And instead of being at the width here, this is going to be not the right side, the left side. So we're going to be subtracting the width. Width. Okay. So now we're gonna create the beam and set the attachments. So we're gonna do a beam table. That's what we made up here. We're gonna set the index of I to a new beam. So instance.new beam, or not blur, blur beam. Okay, then we're gonna do some magic with that. Going to be setting the dot position of the beam to be but now we don't set position. What we do is we set the attachment 0 to be the attachment table I of 1, because that's the first attachment we made up here. So then we'll do the same thing, but we'll change the attachment 1 parameter to be 2. There we go. And then we're going to actually want to be setting more stuff, like the width 0 to be 0.2 is what I found to be looking good, and the width 1 to be the same, and let's try texture. And I found this texture to look pretty neat. It is this guy. It's almost like a laser thing. And then we'll do, I already have that, no, I don't. Beam table, and texture, not texture, we set texture already, we'll set the color. Now this is not just a normal color value, it is a color sequence. And to make a color sequence, we'll do color sequence dot new, and instead of doing like that, you use curly braces things. And those are like the tables almost. So do that, and then we'll do color sequence key points. So this guy, and do dot new. This time you use the normal little parentheses. That's what they're called. And then you do 0 for the time of where it starts at, and then we'll do color 3, and we'll just do from HSV. And you can just go inside of there and then set the color you want. So I like this color because my whole thing is blue. And then I'll just copy this guy, and then I'll go to the end of this, make a little comma, do that. But then you gotta remember to change that to 1 because that's the end of the time of the color sequence. So then we'll do another beam table set. So beam table dot transparency, and this is also not just a number, it is a number sequence. Number sequence. Okay. And it's kind of like the same with the curly braces. Dot new. So this time we're going to be using a number sequence key point. Dot new, parentheses, and then 0, I like 0.9. Do the comma. So this is like just basically time and the value. So we'll just copy this little guy again and paste him. And you gotta remember to change that to 1. Then what we'll do is another beam table set. This is going to be light emission, because I like light. It is beautiful. Light emission. That's another parameter in the beam. So we'll set that to 1. And we'll do beam table I dot parent. You know, it's good to like parent it at the end of setting all the values inside of it. Because when you're messing with C-frames and everything, it just gets wonky. It takes more time for this to go where it needs to go and do stuff. So we're going to want to set the parent to be the beams folder that we made. So we'll access those later on. But we already have the reference to the table, so we can just use that. So now that we got all of the beam stuff made and all the attachments set up, what we gotta do is make it so it starts moving up and like goes back down instantly, so it looks like it's just going up forever until it reaches the top of the screen. Yeah. So what we'll do is make another local, And this is going to be a constant, so we'll do rate per second. And this is going to be 0.5. It's a good value that I found to be okay. And then we'll do ink position. So this is like the current position that it's at, because it's going to be moved, that value is going to be incrementing over time. So we'll set that to 0, and then we're going to start the run service. So we'll do run service dot heartbeat, and then we'll connect it to that function. And inside the function, we're going to be taking in the step value, how much time's passed between the frames, and then we'll be doing a little end at the end. That is something. Oh, because you go like that. Yeah. Okay. So now that we got that, what we'll do is we'll set the local increment. So that little guy is going to be the rate per second times the step. What we want to do, not caps. So that's how that's like our normalized little value that we'll increment by, and we'll increment ink posts by that value. So we'll do ink posts plus the increment, and we'll do a little modulus that basically makes it go back to 0 when it reaches this value. So height ink. Our height ink is actually the value we used up here. So that is the little value between both of the beams. So every time it reaches the height of the new beam, we're going to want to set it back. So we'll do that, and then what we have to do is run through all of our beams again. So we'll do I equals 1, the beam count. It's the same thing we did up here. We're running through all the beams. So we'll do that, and then we'll go through the attachment table because we're setting those positions. So I and then 1. I1 the position. We're setting the position to the attachment table I of 3, because that's our like original position that the attachment starts at. So we'll do that, and we'll add a new value, which is going to be our vector3.new. This is going to be using our ink posts. So we'll do 0 ink posts and 0, because that's the height. We're adding a height to it. We'll basically do the same exact thing for our 2. But we gotta remember to change this one too, because this is our second attachment. Our second attachment's original position. So we're adding that value. And that should be good, actually. We're done. You are now done. We are done. So, if you want, you can later on add a surface GUI to it. So this is our little screen, and when we start it up, let's see if it works. Da-da-dum. Da-da-da-dum. Here we go. Look at that. Made a little screen. Isn't it beautiful? Little force field. Now you can just add GUI to it, whatever you want. Hope you enjoyed. And they're signing off. Whatever. Bye.